ritzy, snooty community with houses like Jerry Seinfeld's at $32 million, Billy Joel's at $29 million, J-Lo's at $10 million. The very richest of the rich say, Kardashians, get out. Backlash from the Hamptons locals intensifies as Kourtney and Khloe search for a mansion to film their spinoff show. But wait a minute. To kick somebody out of town? Can you do that? Is that legal? Suck it up, Hamptons, because I don't think so.
Help me! Help me! Just help me!
The Kardashians not welcome in the Hamptons? The famous sisters' latest reality show is set to take place in the East Coast home of the rich and famous. Some people in the Hamptons don't want the famous sisters and the hassle of camera crews around the town.
Yeah, so what's happening? Is Obama coming?
Joining me, the senior editor of the National Enquirer, Mike Walker. Mike Walker, a lot of people don't like the Kardashians. I think a lot of them just have sour grapes. If you don't like them, just don't watch them. All right?
Exactly. Just ignore them. Even though the Hamptons is, the toniest place it's the oldest English settlement in New York.
Oh, please stop.
Social
Why are you
elite
even saying that? Why are you saying the oldest English settlement? You know what, Mike Walker, what's their problem? What's their problem
is
with
they
the
don't want
Kardashians?
the paparazzis. They don't want film crews. They don't want all the hoo-ha that goes along with having the Kardashians in town. And if you think the Hamptons are being sensitive, listen to this. Even in New Jersey, Khloe is getting hell from all her neighbors because she has, her boyfriend, French Montana, lives in this little town in New Jersey, which is not a high class. It's not low class either. It's just a normal little town. And they don't want it there.
I bet their house is nicer than mine. I bet their house is a heck of a lot nicer than mine. Okay, so that's a whole different thing, complaining to their face, but actually trying to get a petition, legal cause of action to keep them out. Everybody, you're seeing video from E's Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The people in the Hamptons have actually gone to the mayor to complain.
Right. So listen to this. Let me tell you why. And I don't want to fire up this controversy any worse, but let me tell you why they're afraid. In my column next week, Nancy, and you are the first one to hear this, in just a few days I'll be hitting the street with this. You know Calabasas in California, very fancy community, right, where Justin Bieber lived, where he was flinging eggs at everyone and racing his cars around.
Yes.
And his rapper pal, Tyga, T-Y-G-A, just smuggled a full-grown live tiger into the gated community. And after all that, Nancy, now they're facing real terror. Kourtney Kardashian. Now, let me tell you why. Exactly what they're worried about in the Hamptons is already happening. Kourtney bought football player Keyshawn Johnson's house for $8.5 million a few months ago.
You're getting way inside baseball with me, but go ahead.
Okay, so the neighbors are already up in arms. You know why, Nancy? Film trucks speeding up and down, blocking streets when they park to film scenes for the Kardashians' reality TV show. Oh, quote, one insider told me, over a dozen film crews are parked outside Kourtney's mansion, jamming everything in the streets with their big truck. Neighbors have gotten so upset they went to her house. They told the crews it's against the rules, community rules, to film inside the gate.
I can understand not wanting your street clogged up or a big 18-wheeler parked in front of your house, but trying to go to the mayor and actually file a legal petition to stop somebody from moving in before they've even come in and cause you any problems. Mike Walker, senior editor, National Enquirer, with me, but now special guest joining Mike Walker, Mark Epley, the mayor of the village of Southampton. Mayor, I have visited Southampton a couple of times. I was a freeloader. I came for the weekend, and I had to go back to my hovel. But, Mark, what is the problem with the Kardashians coming to film there? I mean, are you guys so highfalutin you can't put up with the Kardashians for one season?
No, I mean, for me, it's all about safety and quality of life, and they're talking about a pop-up store somewhere on one of my main roads. I'm just really worried about traffic flow, pedestrian flow, and ensuring that the safety.
Well, wait a minute, Mark Epley, you're trying to get it over on me, Mayor, because the two or three times I was there, it was bumper to bumper. Everybody in New York tried to unload in the Hamptons for the summer. I mean, it's bumper to bumper. The streets are Oh, okay, so it's different if it's a film crew.
And stuff like that.
So it's different if it's a film crew versus a freeloader like myself who's coming to Hamptons for the weekend. All right.
Oh, you're not a freeloader.
Mayor Epley with me from the village of Southampton, to Bethany Marshall, psychoanalyst, author of Deal Breakers. You know, Bethany, and of course I'm not talking about you, Mayor, because you've got a great reputation, Mayor Epley. But Bethany, when is it that people get so rich they think their air can't be shared with others?
Oh, please. This is so elitist to me. And when the mayor is talking about like safety concerns
Much
and
less
all of that,
illegal.
I mean, I hear Stepford wives. I hear like a community that's become so rigid, so codified, so caught up in themselves that they do not want any change. These girls might be a breath of fresh air, all right? They're beautiful, they're young, it's a different culture.
Well, you call it a breath of fresh air, but the Hamptons call it stinkers. Alicia lawyers Parag Shah and John Phillips. Parag Shah, can you kick somebody out of town?
You're entitled to the peace and enjoyment of where you live. And if they are disrupting that, then they can absolutely file a petition to kick them out. You can't kick someone out based on race, gender discrimination.
I've never heard of that.
They'd have to show that they were an absolute nuisance here, which isn't the case.
But even then, Phillips, you can't just kick somebody out of town. That's not the law. You can bring a trespassing or a nuisance claim against them, disturbing the peace for having wild parties or whatever they think is going to happen, or they can maybe cite a film crew truck that's in the wrong place. But you cannot legally, as far as I know, kick people out of town.
You can't. You can get that nuisance injunction, but they can legislate them out of town. They can control permitting and licensing of where they can film, which may get rid of them pretty quick.
I don't want to give away any of my trade secrets, Mike Walker, National Enquirer, but very often when I would try a case with a defendant at the end during the sentencing, I would say, and let it be ordered that John Doe never set foot in Fulton County again. And, you know, full well knowing that, you know, I didn't have the legal capacity to kick anybody out of the county limits, but I tried. I get this is the same thing here, Mike Walker.
Yes, it is. And Kourtney Kardashian and momager Kris Jenner are not going to be intimidated, sorry, Mayor, by any local people trying to keep them out of a community. You know, they get this heat all the time. They're used to it.
I bet they do.
Going on right
now.
now.
The reality is also, Mayor Epley, I found out that the beautiful homes in which they film, that's not really where they even live. So, Mayor Epley, are you a Kardashian fan? Do you watch the show?
I've never seen the show. I do have a 20-year-old daughter, Marissa, who watches the show. So.
Well, I've got a funny feeling your daughter is going to have it out with you. But you know what? Please keep it quiet, because I don't want you to be on the Nancy Grace show with a fight with your daughter over the Kardashians moving to the Hamptons. Hey, Mayor, thank you for being with us. And Mike Walker, of course, thank you for being with us. Everybody, when we come back,